Good evening, everyone. This is Peter McAllister giving you a video tonight. I thank all of you for your prayers and intercession. I really feel them. I really needed them today. You and other people that are close to me really been praying for the things that God has for me to share. There's some things that I'm going through in life that I know God has really ordained for me to do for this world, and I'm really just convicted by it. And this video is one of many that I'll be sharing with you in reference to forgiveness and some other topics that whatever God bring my way. Just recently, I asked a question to many of you. Give me three topics to discuss, and one, of course, was forgiveness. And tonight, I'm going to talk about that. And I really believe this day and age, we need to really focus in on what is forgiveness and why is it important to you. Why is forgiveness important to you? So many things are going on in society right now. Everything you see on news, online, in your family, on your job, in your community, different things that are taking place all surrounds forgiveness. I'm telling you that right now. And the unfortunate part about that is that most of us are sitting back watching many things happen. I mean, we're crying about it, we're pitying about it, but it's almost as if the only one's doing anything about it. That's because during this season, during this time, God is pouring his spirit amongst his people, amongst his saints, those who are going to go out and preach this gospel unadulterated and give it right to the heart of the people. And I pray that God not only uses me, but he uses many of you out there too. So today, we're going to talk about a topic that applies to everybody, and that's forgiveness. And the name of this series is going to go in three parts, but it's going to be so many videos. And I already know that God's going to have me sending out so many videos. So I'm at that point now. But the name of this series in this totality is called the Forgiveness Trifecta. Basically, three certain areas that all lead up to one. Because forgiveness is really broke down to three areas: forgiveness of yourself, forgiveness of other people, and forgiveness of the whole entire situation. Forgiveness is broken down to three parts. You have to understand when you're violated, excuse me, or you're offended in a certain way. Forgiveness is right there, or unforgiveness is right there. So I'm going to break that down in the series, and I'll continue to get better at these videos as I continue to record. So tonight, we want to talk about how to forgive yourself. Part one. First, before we start talking about forgiveness, we need to understand what it means to be in a state of unforgiveness. And you look up in the dictionary is not really going to give you the deep spiritual connotation of what unforgiveness really is. So I was asking God, I was really praying to God, God, show me what I can inform your people about in reference to unforgiveness. And this is what he gave me. He said, unforgiveness, it's a mental and spiritual imprisonment. It's a mental and spiritual imprisonment. It's a mental and spiritual imprisonment from when you violated yourself, or two, you allowed someone else to violate you, or three, you were innocently part of a violation. So you didn't let nobody do this to you. You didn't do it. It just happened. You're like, oh, how did this happen to me? How did this happen to me? And I'm telling you right now, it's one of those things to where all three areas is something that most people deal with every day, all the time. From a year ago, a day ago, 20 years ago, people are dealing with unforgiveness in those areas. So when a violation takes place, it's often hard when it first takes place, when something happens of great magnitude that causes forgiveness that has to be there. It's sort of hard to determine what was the violation and who was the violator. What was the violation and who was the violator? Because it just popped off. It just happened yesterday, last night, today, last week. It caught you by surprise, or it didn't catch you by surprise. You're just dealing with the situation. You're just trying to keep your head on straight. Now, when that happens, it's really hard to really get to a point of seeing where do you play a role in this? Where do you play the role? Because a lot of things that go down, sometimes you are part of the whole situation also. We don't want to admit it, but at the end of the day, we got to look at that man in the mirror. So what does forgiveness mean? What does forgive mean? So the root word to forgive, the Greek root word for forgive, you always got to start from the beginning, the foundation of a word. The Greek root word, New Testament word for forgive means aphiemi. Aphiemi. Aphi, Aphiemi. It means to forgive, to leave or abandon. Okay, so forgive means you can leave something or abandon. Okay, but how does that apply to yourself? Now, forgiveness, you would think have the same root word and the um, same description, but it doesn't. Forgiveness means aphesis, Aphesis. Now, that word means to be released from captivity. My brothers and sisters, the bondage that we see in all over the world, television, internet, everywhere you look, people that are in captivity, they're in bondage and they don't even know they're in bondage. They're celebrating their bondage or their imprisonment. They don't even know that their minds are in bondage. And it's because of a life full of unforgiveness that they are experiencing. So here's a scripture that I really take to heart, and this is something that this particular word forgiveness reference this scripture to be able to relate on what forgiveness is all about. And the scripture is Luke 4:18. It says, "Listen, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because He has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives." Listen to this: to proclaim liberty to the captives. Now, we just said forgiveness means to be released from captivity, and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord. That's Jesus speaking. So Jesus was sent, listen to this, to proclaim liberty to the captives, to bring forgiveness to you. But most people can't even forgive themselves. They can't even forgive themselves. And what we have to understand is the root of this is for us to be able to realize, where are we still in bondage in our lives? What are we holding on to that's keeping us captives? You're losing sleep. You're losing all type of your health is deteriorating. You're not getting the opportunity. You're not fulfilling the vision and the dreams you've had since you were a child. Why? Because you're holding on to something